how about we talk about Trump for a minute? The first thing, there's one question about Trump that I really wanted to ask you. So are you shocked at the fact that you're donating a substantial amount of money to facilitate Trump's election? Is that something you would have believed in the realm of possibility, say, 5 years ago?
Well,
and I want to diversify out into California.
What's been reported in the media is simply not true.
Okay.
I'm not donating $45 million a month to Trump.
Right.
Now, what I have done is I have created a PAC or super PAC, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Which is, I simply call it the America PAC. Do
you want to tell everybody who's listening what a PAC is? Because people
it's a political action committee.
Yeah.
It's an organization. It's sort of a legal entity that can receive funding. That funding can then be used to help with political campaigns.
Yeah. Okay. And how does that differ from a direct donation? There are specific limits on direct donations to candidates, and the PAC system is a way of putting a political structure in place that sort of runs parallel with the formal political system. And so
you can donate money directly to candidates. That amount is fairly small.
Yeah.
Then and you can donate a lot more money to political action committee or super PAC. There are various rules that govern the operation of PACs and super PACs, but it certainly allows for a lot more money in the system than would otherwise be possible.
Right.
And these are used, to be clear, on the Democrat and Republican side.
Yes. What are you hoping to accomplish with this? And what's the PAC called?
It's called the America PAC. And it's actually not meant to be sort of a hyper-partisan PAC. It's actually the core principles of this America PAC are, the intent is to promote the principles that made America great in the first place. So I wouldn't say that I'm, for example, MAGA, or Make America Great Again. I think America is great. I'm more MAG, Make America Greater. And there's some core pillars, core values that have, I think, made America great.
Could you elucidate those?
One of them is being a meritocracy. As much of a meritocracy as possible, such that you get ahead as a function of your hard work and your skill, and nothing else. Which is why I would be opposed to, for example, things like DEI.
Adrian Wooldridge documented the fact that the alternative to meritocracy historically is nepotism and dynasty.
Absolutely.
It's not equity.
America, it's not like America's been purely a meritocracy, but it has been more of a meritocracy than any other place.
Right. Which is good. That's good. That's good.
Which I regard as good.
Yeah.
Promoting meritocracy, promoting freedom, freedom to operate, meaning like the least amount of government intervention possible. We want, because the natural tendency over time, sort of almost like entropy, is that the hand of government gets heavier every year. The laws and regulations accumulate every year, and these laws and regulations are immortal. You have to really take an active role in reducing the number of laws and regulations. Otherwise, as more and more laws and regulations are passed, eventually everything becomes illegal. To give you an example, some lawfare that was leveled against SpaceX, for example, we were told for many years that we could not hire anyone who was not a permanent resident.
Yeah, right. They had to be that.
So SpaceX develops advanced rocket technology, which is considered an advanced weapons technology because it's a core part of like intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Yeah.
So there are only a handful of things in the sort of highest level of weapon technology, and rocket technology is one of those, because we could deliver a payload and basically bomb anywhere on Earth, from anywhere on Earth. So, I was told in no uncertain terms by the government that if we hired anyone who is not a permanent resident of the United States, had to have either a green card or a citizen, that I would go to prison
Oh, yeah.
Because the presumption, if somebody is not a permanent resident, is that they will leave the United States and take the rocket technology from SpaceX to potentially to countries that would cause harm to the United States.
Right, right.
Pretty, solid reasoning, I think. And then a few years ago, the Biden administration decided to sue SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers.
Right, right. Yeah, I remember that.
So we're told on the one side that if we hire anyone who's not a permanent resident, we go to prison. Now we're told if we don't hire asylum seekers who are not people who've been granted asylum. Seekers, they aspire to asylum. They're therefore not a permanent resident, but if we don't hire them, we also go to prison.
Right.
I mean, that seemed to be insane and unfair. And why did the Biden administration? Because they can only do so many big cases per year. There's a finite number they can do.
Yeah.
Why would the Justice Department, of all the injustices that occur, pick this as one of their biggest cases?
Yeah. Why? Why do you think?
Well, I think they probably had I don't know. This is before supporting Trump or anything like that.
Yeah.
In fact, I supported Biden, and before that Hillary, and before that Obama. Yeah.
What do you think of Trump?
Well, I'm not going to, I don't sort of subscribe to cults of personality.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really just, we've got a choice of administrations, and we have to pick one.
Yeah.
I think both, there are flaws on both sides. Many years ago, I think probably the Democratic Party was the party of meritocracy and of personal freedom.
Yeah.
They used to be the free speech party.
Yeah.
And these days they seem to be the censorship party under the guise of hate speech.
Yeah.
So weirdly, in my view, the Republican Party is actually the party that's the meritocracy party. Because the Democrats are also promoting DEI, which is really just another form of racism and sexism.
It's the most pernicious form, I think, actually.
Right. So it's anti-meritocratic. DEI is fundamentally anti-meritocratic. So then
it insists on dividing people by groups.
Right.
As the primary, what would you say, conceptual distinction between individuals?
Yes.
Race,
in fact,
ethnicity, sex.
I think the Democratic Party is stoking division.
I think the evidence for that's clear. All of this group identity nonsense has made things much more. I can see it in Toronto. When my kids grew up in Toronto downtown, I would say they were race, ethnicity, and gender blind.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They had an unbelievably diverse range of friends, and no one cared.
Sure.
And even in Toronto, that started to shift around with this emphasis on group division. It's a really ugly thing to see.
Yeah. So my view is that at this point in the United States, the Republican Party is more in line with meritocracy and with personal freedom. I think there's something to be said that America needs a strong leader, and that we have the perception of strength. Now, you have to admire that Trump, after getting shot with blood streaming down his face, it could have been a second shooter, who knows? Nonetheless, was fist pumping, fight. After being shot, I mean, he's brave. He has courage. This is instinctual courage. It's not calculated. And if you want a leader who's going to deal with some very, very tough cookies out there, who's going to deal with a Putin or Kim Jong-un or
China.
Yeah, China. They'll think twice about messing with Trump.
Yeah.
They'll think twice.
Okay.
And poor Biden can't make it up the stairs, and obviously he's stepped out of the race. But nobody's going to be intimidated by Biden. It's impossible. I think they will be intimidated by a guy who was fist pumping after getting shot.